Good to see you again.
Like Charles Allen, Neil Pepe was raised in British India and is the grandson of the man who made the remarkable find. W.C. Pepe.
That is patently William Blackstone Pepe, your grandfather, is it not?
Yes, it's his old chest. There's some of the photos.
And there he is.
Then that is the Piprawa stupa.
This is the excavation site.
Yes, and you can see the trench that was cut through the middle of it.
Beneath this ancient monument, the Piprawa stupa in northern India, Willie Pepe found a huge stone chest, over 20 feet down. In it were some reliquary urns, and over 1,000 separate jewels, carved semi-precious stones, and gold and silver objects. A fraction of them preserved here by the family for over 100 years, and of incalculable value. The landscape of this part of northern India, known as the Terai, is low and flat. But at the northern edge of Birdpore Estate was a mysterious mound known as Piprawa. It was here that Pepe set his men digging. After weeks of clearing away soil at the Piprawa mound, Pepe's men had exposed the top of a large brick structure. But what lay beneath?
This is the Piprawa stupa as it is today, beautifully restored. But this is not what it would have been like in 1898. You have to imagine that I would now be standing deep underground because the surface level of the ground would have come about 20 feet above my head. So the first thing Mr. Pepe has to do is to expose the top of this vast mound, and his workmen uncover a lovely brick dome. So in January 1898, the first thing they do is run a great trench right the way through the monument. And then they dig down deep into the ground. When finally they've got to the bottom, what do they find? A neat little alcove, and inside it, this vast stone coffer. Nothing like it has ever been found in India. It's almost like some sort of Egyptian sarcophagus. Will they find a body? Will they find treasure? You can imagine the excitement building. It must have been an extraordinary moment.
On the morning of January the 18th, 1898, Pepe and his men went down into the shaft. This was the moment they'd been waiting for. The huge lid, weighing nearly 1/4 of a ton, was slid aside, and for the first time, Pepe was able to look inside. He waved his workers back to give himself room, and began to remove what he found.
We know from family accounts that William Pepe reached down into the box and produced a water pot. I suspect a great sense of anticlimax. Here is an ordinary little water pot, as you might find in India today. So he would have handed that to his foreman, looked down again. And this time he comes up with a rather beautiful stoneware object, a jar of some sort with a top. Okay, a bit more excitement perhaps. Hands it to his foreman.
The next pot seemed unremarkable too. A low stone jar with a lid. This too was carefully wrapped in newspaper. But something much more remarkable was to come.
Now, it's almost as if William Pepe has saved the best for the last, because he is holding a beautiful, shining, crystal object. It has a beautiful lid on top in the shape of a fish. And when he lifts the lid off, you can imagine a gasp of astonishment, because it glittered with jewels. And hundreds of little flowers made of precious stones. A most thrilling sight it must have been. And there's more to come, because when they actually looked inside the stone coffer, they saw the entire floor was covered with glittering items, gold and little precious and semi-precious jewels. I mean, there were over 1,600 individual items there. A unique offering of some sort had been laid across the floor of this great coffer. A complete mystery. But what an amazing moment for the Pepe family.
The discovery was little short of miraculous, unlike anything found in India before or since. But how old was it? And why was it here? No one yet knew. Round the neck of one of the reliquary jars, overlooked in the excitement, was a line of spidery writing consisting of 36 strange letters. The letters themselves, let alone the language they represented, were completely unknown and indecipherable to Pepe. But he painstakingly copied out the mysterious inscription and scribbled a hasty note to Smith above it.
Now, quite amazingly, this little scrap of paper has survived. You can see that Willie Pepe has very carefully copied the characters on the urn. And then underneath it, you can see that Vincent Smith has given his first transcription of what it might mean. Ya Salila Nidani Budhasa. And then if you turn this little scrap of paper over, on the back you find Vincent Smith's reply. And it begins, the relics appear to be those of the Buddha himself. Hard to imagine what must have been going through Pepe's mind when he saw that. This is mind-blowing stuff.
Mind-blowing indeed. No relics of the Buddha, dead for almost 2,500 years, had ever been found. If Pepe had located them, it was a discovery of huge importance, akin to finding a piece of the true cross. Here in Calcutta, former capital of British India, is the crucial piece of evidence. Because the city's museum holds the original inscribed Preprawa urn. Stone this old cannot be carbon dated, nor can the inscription. But for the right expert, there are vital clues in the text itself.
Now, I'm hoping that waiting for me at the museum will be Professor Harry Falk. Now, he is the world's leading authority on ancient Indian languages. We've corresponded, but I've never met him. So I have no idea what's going to happen.
Harry Falk is a professor at Germany's oldest Institute of Indology in Berlin.
Harry!
This must be you.
Must be Harry. Yes.
He's been studying ancient Indian languages for over 40 years. What will his verdict be on the possible involvement of fellow German Anton Führer?
This is amazing.
So here we are into the Holy of Holies.
Oh, there it is.
Look at this, Charles.
This is wow. I've been looking at pictures of this for 6 years, Harry. What strikes me is how clear the writing is, how each character has been clearly defined. So, Harry, you've been staring at this for a long time. Is this a fake?
I can definitely say this is not a fake.
How can you say that?
First, the script is absolutely authentic. The object is authentic. The language is the language of that time and that area of India.
Now, the obvious perpetrator is Dr. Führer. Now, surely he could have done this.
Yes, he was employed as an archaeologist, but his knowledge of Sanskrit was deficient. The text uses a vocabulary like nidhane, which is not found at any other place.
Harry, that unusual word you use there, what's the significance of that?
The term is nidhane, and it means container in a neutral sense. This only found on this casket, no other place.
So in other words, it'd been very unusual for Führer to have picked on this very obscure word.
Yes, since Führer was a not so skilled Sanskritist, to say it mildly, he would have copied terms from other reliquaries and not coined a term on his own. Everything surpasses the capacities of Dr. Führer immensely.
So it is a genuine and unique inscription.
Absolutely, yes. Sukhiti bhati nam sabhaginikanam saputta dalanang yang salila nidhane buddhassa bhagava sakya, and then he ran out of space and he added 2 letters on top of it, saying yanam.
Now, for me, Harry, what does that say?
This reliquary, which is the reliquary of the Buddha, the lord of the Shakya clan in the Terai.
So, Harry, you're absolutely confident that this reliquary contained the remains of the Buddha?
Yes, we can be absolutely confident because the text says, Buddhasa salile bhagavate. That means these are the relics of the Buddha, the Lord.
So, this world expert is convinced that the vital inscription is genuine.